Our best ideas come from conversations with our friends. After a recent conversation with Adam, we created this new idea that we want to share with you today. So you might remember this game when I share it with you because it's a childhood game that we once played. A lot of my ideas that I have turned into games that I use in classrooms are games that I played as a kid myself. Now this game was called Hangman when we played it as kids. So we probably are going to change that name because, right? We don't want to say that word anymore. So I've changed the name of this game to Build, but it follows those same directions that we played when we played that game as a child. So I'm going to share with you today how we can play this game. Now, when we're playing this game, we're going to need a couple things, and here's what we're going to need. We're going to need a mat, a game mat, and you can have it where just the teacher has this, or you can have it where you share this with every child having one. I'll talk about that in a minute. You're going to need each child to have their own game board, if you want to call it that. They're going to also need to have game pieces. Now here's the game pieces that I'm using for the one I'm going to model you. This is a Thanksgiving themed one. You're going to want a cube. You need a dry erase marker. Kids need a marker. We need a booklet for each kid where they're going to be putting their words. And then you need a word list. Now the reason why we want to have the word list is because when we were playing this game as a child, the game would just be, in our head somewhere. It wouldn't really be like we were working on a certain word. So it was the game was to kind of try to trick your friend to keep them from guessing your word. Well, today our idea is to get kids to learn the words. Right? So we want to decide what words it is that we want the kids to know, and those are the words that we're going to put on the list. So for here, these are just unit vocabulary words. These are words that are related around the theme of Thanksgiving or November. So you might want to use those words just to have kids start building that vocabulary. It could be that you're using sight words that you're working on, that you're putting on your word wall. It could be that you want to do this with CVC words that you're working on. It could be color words. It could be number words. I'm even going to show you a way where you can use this just to work on identifying letters of the alphabet. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you how we're going to play it. So the first thing is the teacher has to think of a word. So in the teacher mind, the teacher's going to think of a word, and the teacher's going to say, my word has 7 letters. So the teacher's going to put 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 lines on there. Then the kids in their booklet need to draw 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So now the teacher has the word in her mind. So we're going to teach kids to take their cube and think, okay, what could the word be? So we're going to go down our list of words and we're going to identify the words, and then we're going to identify if the word could be the answer. So family has 6 letters, feast has 5 letters, turkey has 6 letters, harvest has 7 letters. So we're going to go all the way down. The kids are going to work on reading the words and identifying how many letters, because that's the first feature that we're looking at, is how long the word is. All right, so then the kid is going to take a guess. So the kid is saying, okay, the word is harvest. So then the teacher asks the children to guess a letter. So this child might say H, right? And the teacher's like, no. And even if it was harvest, guys, change your mind, okay? Because you don't want them to guess it on the first letter. So say no. So then, since they didn't guess it, what we're going to do, just like in Hangman, we're going to add a piece to our design. Okay, so we know it's not a P, right? So we're going to go up here and an H. So we're going to come up here and we're going to find our H and we're going to cross out our H because we know it's not an H. Okay, so then the kids have to say, okay, we know this is a 7-letter word that doesn't have an H. All right, so it can't be harvest. So let me find another 7-letter word. So we're going to go back to the top. We're going to identify which word it could be. And so maybe we say, oh, maybe it's pumpkin. So we put it there. All right. And so then the kid says, does it have a P? Now I see another 4-letter word down there. The only other seven-letter word down here is feather, right? That's the only other one. There's only 3 7-letter words. So it has to be pumpkin because it can't be an H, right? See, that was a very smart guess. So you say it does have a P. And so you write your P's, and I go ahead and give them all the P's. All right, because we've guessed P, so we're going to cross it out. All right, so then the kids on their paper write the P's. All right, now if they had put theirs on feather, which they shouldn't have because it was an H, then they would say, okay, well, which 7-letter word has a P? Oh, pumpkin. So now, of course, they'll very rapidly guess the rest of the letters. They'll say, does it have a U? And you'll say, yes, it has a U. And then they write a U on their paper. Then they'll say, does it have an M? And I'll say, yes, it has an M. And they'll mark the M. All right? And we'll keep going until we have filled out the rest of the word. Okay, now once they finish filling out the word, then we're going to clean off our board, and I've laminated this board, all right, so that you can just use wet wipes to wipe it. And of course, then you're going to want to dry it off with a paper towel or it'll ruin your vis-a-vis, right? You could also just slip this down inside a page protector. That would work too. All right, so then we're going to go to our next one, and we're going to say this time my word has 5 letters. So I'm going to draw my 5 lines on here. They're going to draw their 5 lines on theirs. All right, and then we're going to look and find our 5-letter words. So we're going to read our list of words. See how each time we're going back to read our list of words, whether we're reading vocabulary words, whether we're stretching CVC words, we're spending most of our time engaged with the words. This right here is just a trick to get kids to want to play your game. Now, how do I know this works? Because I had this on my kitchen counter the other morning when I was developing these activities. And my grandson, Brody, had a doctor's appointment. So he came to the house before school so that my husband could take him to the doctor. And he said to me, Gimme, can I please play your new game? He played that game with me the whole time until it was time for him to leave to go to the doctor's appointment. He was so excited. He came back that next morning and he said, Gimme, when he dropped off his little sister, he wanted to say, Gimme, do I have time to play this morning? So I know there's high energy there. And I know that there's good content here. So really we got a win-win going on here, right? Okay, so 5-letter word. So maybe they are going to say, all right, maybe it's feast. So the kid is going to guess one of the letters in feast. You are immediately not going to let this word be feast, right? Because you're wanting it to be a different letter. Now, of course, if you're playing this to 20 kids, somebody's going to have put theirs by every word probably, right? Okay, but they're going to say, does it have an F? You say no, it doesn't have an F. So they've got to add a piece, and you're going to cross out your F. All right. Then, okay, well maybe now let's say they guessed apple, because if they said F, it would be that one, right? So maybe let's say they said apple. All right. No, that's right. We were right. You're thinking apple. I keep getting confused whether I'm the teacher or the student here. Okay. So then they're going to say it's not feast. Let me see. What is another 5-letter word? Let's see, it could be apple, it could be, oh, that is the only other 5-letter word, so it has to be apple. See, it's not you're trying to trick them, it's that we're trying to get them to read the words, all right? So then they're gonna say, does it have an A? And you say, it sure does, and you're gonna put an A. So then over here, they put an A, all right? And then they're gonna guess the other letters. Does it have a P? You say, yes, it has 2 P's. So then they're going to cross out the P, and over here, they're going to write their 2 P's. All right? After you finish the word, then you clean it off, and you're going to go to the next word. Now, I've got mine where I have 7 pages in here, all right? Because what I want them to be able to do is to build the craft, right? So I want to have a lot of chances for them to build the craft. Now, my friend Adam says you should play this where they get a piece when they guess the letter right. Sure, go ahead. Whatever you want to do, however you want to play it. I guess it was just the way I'd played it in my childhood that was most familiar with me. That's why I just kind of went to that. But they'll build it, and they'll have their little turkey when they get done. All right, so we've combined the idea of a game with a craft to create the turkey. Now, of course, y'all know that my daughter Megan is a teacher and she's teaching pre-K. And she said, Mom, I want to do this with my pre-K kids to do the letters. So here's what you can do. You can play I'm thinking of a letter. Now, I don't have a list of letters here for the kids, but what I would do is I would give them a card with the letters, like this right here, okay? And I would even just give them Unifix cubes because, you know, pre-K kids and vis-a-vis could be a disaster. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, I'm thinking of a letter that has a circle, okay? And so then what the kids will do is they'll come and they'll cross out all the letters that do not have a circle. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna find all the ones that do, I'm not gonna call that a circle, I'm gonna call that a dot, okay? Crossing out all the ones that do not have a circle. Okay? Then I'm gonna say, so then they're gonna guess. They're gonna say, is it an O? And you say, no, it's not an O. And so then you cross out the O. Now, as you're crossing them out, guys, you wanna be sure you're saying the names of the letters, right? No, C doesn't have a circle, E doesn't have a circle, all right? So then you'll give them another clue. You'll say, my letter has a long, straight line, okay? So it has let's just say it has a straight line for our first clue. So that means, we're gonna cross out, it can't be G, it can't be Q, all right? So then they're gonna guess again, and they're gonna say, is it a P? Now I'm gonna say no until we get to the last letter, okay guys? So you say, no, it's not a P. So you cross out the P, and you add one of the pieces to your turkey, all right? So then you're gonna say, my letter has a circle and a tall straight line. All right, so that means we're gonna cross out the A because the A has a short straight line. So then they're gonna say, is it the B? Are we gonna say it's the B? No, we're not, because we're gonna have them put another piece on, right? We're gonna say it's not a B. So we're gonna cross off the B, they're gonna add another piece. Then we have identified the letter. The letter is D, okay? And you can just keep playing that until they have finished building the craft. All right, so now what I did was, when I was talking with Adam, he had asked me to come on his podcast and share how I modified that childhood game Hangman into a politically appropriate game for today's society, and how I have changed it to make the focus be on the words, not on the game, right? So what we did was Adam and I, when we got off that podcast, I said to him, oh my God, I got an idea. And so we decided we would work on it together. So we each created a set of crafts. So what we did was we made 12 different crafts, and we made them so that they would be kind of one a month, all right? And then we made a vocabulary list for each set. We also made a bunch of sight word lists. And then we made an editable list so that you can go in and type in your own words. Now, all of this is available in a pack that Adam and I created called Build. And I will put the link for that pack in the comments. All right, I hope you have a great day. I hope you find some fun ways to increase your use of games and crafts in your classroom, because not only are they sound educational practices, they're also just a whole lot of fun. Y'all have a great day. Bye.